thank everyone for coming. I'm very excited to give this workshop. This is my life's work. This is what I do for work, and I don't get to nerd out about it as much as I would like to. So thank you for giving me a platform where I can just talk about my favorite thing. So this is Psychedelic Therapy 101. I'm Maddie. I'm a licensed therapist. I've been practicing ketamine-assisted therapy for the past 5 years. I have seen a lot. I have my own personal experiences with psychedelics. Psychedelics changed my life in so many beautiful, challenging, heart-opening ways that it became my life's work to try to help other people have the same experiences and be able to get the most out of their psychedelic experiences. So this is a little 101 on how to do that. I've got 4 main things that I'm going to be talking about today: creating the container around your psychedelic experiences, intention setting, bad trips versus difficult experiences, and then integration. So I want to start off, who here has had a bad experience with psychedelics? Who's had an amazing experience with psychedelics? Who's always a little nervous sometimes before they go to psychedelics because they don't know what's going to happen? Okay, great. That's all totally normal. That's going to happen. And these are ways that you can create the container and support your journey and experience so that even if something comes up, you're able to work with it and more likely have a growth experience than a bad trip. So first off, creating the container, setting, dose. These are the 3 most important things in creating your container. They are going to influence how your journey goes, probably more than anything else. Your set. This is, where's your state of mind? What's going on in your life? What are you thinking about? Are there certain things that you're worrying about? Are there things that you have questions about? Are you thinking like, okay, well, I'm having a bunch of shit going on in my life right now and I don't want to deal with it, so I'm going to use psychedelics to escape. These are all different mindsets that can highly influence how your journey starts and what might come up along the way. Your setting. This is your environment. This is the external. So set is very internal. It's very much, what do I have going on? What am I bringing on my journey with me? The setting is, where is this journey? Where am I journeying to? Who am I journeying with? Are you with people that are open and supportive and you can lean on when you're having a challenging experience, when you need to give voice to something that you've been holding on to for a really long time? The people that you're around, you are going to pick up on their energetic fields, even more so on psychedelics than we do normally. So the people that you're around, the space that you are in, they are so influential in how your journey goes. And then lastly, dose. I've done way too many drugs, way too many times, and it's not always fun if you go a little bit past your threshold and your limit. I am a huge advocate of start low and go slow. You can always take more, you can always extend your journey, but once you're on that journey, you have to ride it out until the end. But remember, every journey has a beginning, a middle, and an end. So preparing yourself for the journey that you want to go on. This is also knowing what you are taking. Please, please, please test your drugs, know what you're taking. It's all about informed consent so that you know if you're going to be riding an ATV on this journey, if you're trying to jet ski, if you're skiing down a hill. You want to know what journey you're going on so that, again, you know how to ride it out. So just like there are 3 parts of starting and going into your journey, we also have 3 parts of the journey and experience as a whole. So we have prep, we have the journey, and we have integration. Most people don't think about the before and the after. Most people just have their experience themselves. And this is when we have more likelihood of a difficult experience coming up, not knowing how to process things that came up, and how do you go forward? How do you hold what got brought up, what you saw, what you experienced, how do you work with that and go back into day-to-day life? So we start with prep. This is the first step in psychedelic therapy. We talk about, why are you wanting to do this? What are you wanting to get out of this experience? This is where we do intention setting. So when I work with my clients, a lot of them are coming to me because they have a lot of trauma history, anxiety, depression, chronic pain, things that they've been holding onto for a really, really long time, and they don't really know what to do with it. They've tried a lot of other things. They've tried talking about it. They've tried some body work stuff, but there's just bridges and obstacles that they can't get over and they can't get past. So in prep, we focus on, what is it that you're wanting to move towards? When we think so much about what we're struggling with, this is what creates our reality. And so if we keep focusing on, oh, well, I'm so anxious, I'm an anxious person, I'm always going to be this way, that's the story that you're telling yourself. So when you think about prep, if you want to explore your anxiety, an intention might be, teach me how to trust, or let me understand my anxiety. What is my anxiety trying to show me? What is my anxiety trying to teach me? What part of me is holding this anxiety? Who is this anxious part of me? Let me get to know this part. So really thinking about how you want to work with these medicines that you're using. I've had experiences, and again, I'm sure everyone else has, where you take psychedelics and you're like, I just want to get fucked up, I want to have a good time. Those can be intentions. If you go into it saying, I want to get fucked up, I don't want to feel this thing anymore, what we resist persists. So you speak into existence what you want. If you don't want something to come up, we're resisting that, it's probably going to come up. If you say, I want to get fucked up, you're probably going to have a bumpy ride. If you go in and you say something like, I want to be open to this experience, I want to learn, I want to be shown, that's when you're going to be able to work more with the medicine and have a smoother journey overall. Everybody's familiar with their own journeys, the journeys themselves. Again, as I said earlier, every journey has a beginning, middle, and end. So as you're riding along, things that come up, it may seem like it's going to last forever. Sometimes we get stuck in loops on certain things. The best thing that you can do for yourself in this time is surrender. Surrender is going to be your most powerful personal tool in all of these experiences, because what you're doing is you're leaning back and you're allowing the medicine to take over. Again, the more we hold on, the more that we resist what is coming up, the more that we try to change our journey, that's when you're more likely to have a bad trip. I personally don't believe in bad trips. I believe in difficult experiences that we may not be equipped to handle. So again, in prep, before we go into the journey, we talk about inner resourcing, external resourcing. What are our tools within you that you can take with you? Maybe that's a mantra, maybe that's your intention. Maybe it's a breathwork practice. Maybe it's a somatic movement where you know that rocking back and forth or swaying in a certain way is really, really soothing for your body. Bringing those tools with you and knowing that you do have access to those in your journey, and that these are ways that you can paddle through some of those really rough waves that come up. Your external resources, these are going to be, again, more of the setting, the people around you. Do you have someone that you can say, hey, I'm having a tough time right now, can you sit with me? Can you hold my hand through this experience? Most of the work that I do with my clients when they're journeying is, I'm not talking, we're not talking, we're just sitting there. I'm there to hold their hand if things are getting really, really difficult. I'm there to give them a tissue if they're having deep, deep grief that's coming up and they finally get a chance where they get to let it out. They get to cry. They get to scream and unleash all of this pain and emotion that has just been stuck in the body and is coming up in these things like pain and anxiety and depression. So the journey, it really is each individual's individual experience. And I like to let people know that every journey is going to be different. Each time you go on a journey, you're a different person than you were before you went on the last one. So that's one of the things with psychedelics is we can't predict exactly how it's going to go, but it's always just about being open to whatever experience is coming up and allowing that experience to happen. I believe that your unconscious only brings up what you are ready to handle when you are ready to handle it, and that it will never bring up more than you are ready to handle. You might not want to handle it right then and there, but it has come up because your unconscious says you are ready to look into this. You are ready to hold this. You are ready to let go of this. And so much of healing and doing this deep inner work with these medicines is you have to feel it to heal it. That's where so much resistance can come up with these experiences, is something feels really intense in my body. I don't like this feeling. Maybe it's like a buzzing in your chest. Maybe it's like your skin is kind of crawling. Maybe you feel prickly, or there's just like something in there that wants to move. There's so much conditioning in our society that tells us to stay still, to not trust our bodies, to hold things in. Psychedelics really help you to tap back into that feeling of flow and fluidity, and letting your body do what it needs to do to help itself heal naturally. For intention setting in your journey, I have 3 main guidelines that I like to tell people. Again, kind of just sticking with the pattern of 3, it's easy to remember. 1, I recommend keeping your intention something that's short and sweet. Something that you're going to be able to remember. That might be something like, I want to play. I want to play with my inner child. I want to work in the garden of my heart. I want to find peace. Keeping it just something that's short and sweet, but something that really resonates with you, really feels like, yes, this is it. This is what feels aligned. This is what I recommend for an intention setting, so that you can come back to it. Our intentions, they are both an anchor and a guide in our journeys. They can anchor you back to, this is why I am here right now. I went into this journey for this reason. This is why I started. And times when we're deep in it, we feel lost on the path, we might lose that why. So having an intention to come back to of, oh, I'm here because I want to feel this. I want to release this. Having something that has a positive skew can also be helpful when we're doing these experiences, especially when we get caught in the turbulence, when things are moving around, we feel really lost. If we have something that grounds us back to, this is the energy that I would like to be shifting myself into. This is my lighthouse that I'm moving towards. This, again, can help ground you during difficult experiences if we have something of, this is what I'm doing and this is what I want to shift into. And then lastly, for intention settings, I really recommend having something that is on the more open-ended side. If we get really, really narrow and rigid with our intentions, we could get really frustrated and disappointed when our intention doesn't come up on our journey, when our journey goes in a totally different direction. And that can feel really discouraging, especially if you're trying to do this deep healing work, where you might be like, oh, well, I want to go and look at this event that happened to me in middle school, but the medicine says, well, actually, that hurt because you need to take a look at this thing that happened when you were really, really little. So leaving it open-ended, where you can still have this touchstone to come back to, but you also are letting the medicine have the space where it can bring you where it needs to bring you and meet that part of yourself that is really wanting to talk to you at that time. So again, just some kind of helper phrases for creating an intention. Show me, teach me, help me understand. You can plug in whatever you would like to ask more about. I really view psychedelics as this is a way of connecting back with that core light that is within us all, that we lose contact with in day-to-day life. But psychedelics help you to speak to and reconnect with that light that's within. And in coming out, this is where we then talk about integration. So integration is how we wrap everything around, how we close it all together. We've opened a circle, we started in prep, we go on our journey, but every journey has to have an end, and the journey's end isn't actually when you don't feel the medicine in your system anymore. There's so much that gets moved around. new things that we learn about ourselves, things that we've let go of, and we have to figure out, what do we do with that? So integration is really about taking that golden thread that you get from your journey and weaving it into your day-to-day life. And I'll go more into integration in a little bit. But first, I want to talk about bad trips versus difficult experiences. In my early 20s, I definitely had several bad trips where I was very resistant to what was coming up. There was a lot of fear, a lot of big feelings, didn't know what to do with them, and was just like, oh, well, that was just a bad one. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. But of course, then there's that fear of, is this going to happen again? And is it going to go the same way? And am I going to feel like I'm losing control? That's a big thing where a lot of people hold on in their journeys, is they feel like they're losing control. And again, this is where surrender comes back in. Your unconscious is trying to work with you and share these things with you. The control is the ego. And the ego is all of the conditioning, all of the patterns that have been ingrained in us that created the shadow that blocked access to our light. And so we have to dissolve that ego in order to reconnect with that inner light. So the more that we resist, just remember that that's the ego hanging on. That's the ego saying, no, I don't want to go, I don't want to go, I don't want to go. But if we let the ego die and dissolve, it's like our brains are really like computers. The ego gets turned off, it gets turned back on again. And all of those buggy programs that we're running, those got left behind. We do the reset, and then you have space where you can bring in new programming. You can bring in new narratives for yourself. You can bring that intention and weave that into your daily life to really make those shifts last. A lot of the time, unprocessed emotions and experiences can come up with psychedelics, things that we didn't even know that we were holding on to, and that can be really, really challenging when we're in a party setting. So this is one of the big differences between psychedelic therapy and using psychedelics recreationally. Both have their place, but again, it's about intention setting, and it's about asking yourself, am I ready if something comes up? Can I hold space for this? Do I have those internal and external resources that I can lean on so that I can ride through this bump in the road? I said earlier, all journeys have a beginning, middle, and end. Remember that in any difficult experience, it is going to pass. It is going to have a finish point. And if we allow it to come through, that is us letting go of it. That is us feeling it, healing it, and saying, I don't need to hang on to this anymore. Okay, I'm going to tie this up. We're going to go into integration. So integration, is my opinion, is one of the most important things from working with psychedelics, because this is actually where you get the lasting change. I've had a lot of clients come to me because they have tried everything else and they just want a silver bullet that's going to cure their depression. They want their anxiety gone away. They want to not be dealing with trauma anymore, but they don't actually want to do the work to move through that, to let that go, to change and maintain that change. And that's really what integration is. It's taking your lessons, your insights, your own inner wisdom from your psychedelic experiences and bringing that into your day-to-day. So integration can look so many different ways. I only have one of these, but if you would like to come and take a picture afterwards, this is a tool that I use with so many of my clients. I did not create it, so sourced from Heart Song Northwest. But this is the 7 realms of psychedelic integration. So every journey can have a different insight, a different message, a different thing that you need to know or you need to experience. And it's important to be aware of what might those things be. If you have ever had a psychedelic experience where you're like, well, I feel like there was something there, but I don't really know like what shifted, or like I feel different, but I don't really know why. It can be important to check in with yourself and also know like what areas you can check in on, what might be different, and just ask yourself those deeper questions. And then through asking those questions of yourself, being able to make those changes and move forward. So the 7 realms of integration are self-discovery, relationships and lineage, wounding and healing, body intelligence, earth wisdom, core values, spirit, and cosmos. So self-discovery, this is your own purpose and meaning. This is you getting to know you. If you've never had a talk with yourself in the mirror on psychedelics before, I highly recommend it. You can really connect with yourself more than I think you think is even possible. You're able to see your own soul. So self-discovery is really you getting to speak to that light inside of you, have a conversation, have a dialogue, learn and share, and feel more of that connection to what is uniquely you. This can also be learning to love all of those parts of yourself that have been pushed away, that have been told are not okay, learning how to accept them, and how do I integrate these parts of myself into my daily life. Maybe it's, oh, I have this part that's really, really angry, and I don't like to let her out because I don't like how she's acted before when I've let her out. But knowing that that part serves a purpose, and so how can I learn to befriend my anger? How can I learn to understand what she's really trying to tell me in these moments? How can I help her when she's saying, hey, I need your attention? Self-discovery, this can also, again, be your ego death. Coming to terms with your mortality, that you only have a limited time in this vessel, and what do you want to do with that? What is meaningful to you? Who do you want to be spending your time with? How do you want to be spending your time? Relationships and lineage, this is our community. This is our family, our friends. This is also our ancestors. This is us coming into energies that have been a part of our energy for so many cycles, that will always be a part of our energy, and that also have wisdom for us to hear and to learn. It's also unburdening the burdens that were passed down to us through our ancestors, the things that we didn't choose to pick up but that were handed to us, and that it's now our responsibility to set down so we don't keep passing it down. This can also be going back to your childhood, creating a relationship with your inner child, with that little kid inside who's the one it's actually that one who's really scared. It's that little kid inside that's needing safety, that's needing you to be that safe adult that they can go to and they say, hey, I need help. I don't know what's going on. I'm confused. I'm scared. I need someone to talk to. You can go back and revisit difficult experiences in your life, and you can go in and be that safe adult. That time when you got hurt by someone who was supposed to be taking care of you. Psychedelics can help you to go into that experience and take that little child out of that situation. Be the adult that gets to say no. I don't like that. That's not okay. You can't do that to me. You can go in and you can rewrite that narrative where once before there wasn't that safe adult, but now there is, and you get to live with that little kid, and that little kid gets to live with you. This goes into wounding and healing, connecting with those sore spots, those deep aches, those things that we know about back here, but it's back here because we just shove it back. We shove it back, or we shove it down, but then it starts speaking to us in another way. It might be pain in your hip. It might be tightness in your chest. It might be this feeling of my throat's locked up and I actually can't voice what I need to say right now. Allowing these experiences to be felt, that pain to be released, that no to be said. There's a lot of deep healing work, unburdening, and forgiveness work that we can do with psychedelics. And forgiveness of others, but also of ourselves. From times that we didn't listen to ourselves, times that we heard that little voice, but we brushed it away because there was a much louder one that was yelling at us instead. Our body intelligence. I would not have the relationship with my body that I do today without psychedelics. I'm especially going to say ketamine is really helpful if you would like to explore somatic work. It helps you to listen to your body a lot more, notice where you might be holding things, and also how your body wants to let go of it. We're told that, oh, you should do this for that pain, you should do that for this issue. Our bodies really know what we need and how to lead in that process. We just have to take a step back, listen, and allow. So you may notice from some psychedelics that you get pain relief afterwards, not just during the journey, but afterwards. I've had some clients where they've had chronic pain their whole lives, but after a psychedelic journey, their pain has gone away or has significantly lowered because that pain was just, it's stuck emotional pain that's in the body. You can also connect and learn, what is my body trying to say to me that it needs help with, it needs being taken care of. Maybe the check engine light on your body has been on a really long time, but you don't exactly know what it is. You don't know how to run the code on your body. Psychedelics can help you tap in and drop in and listen to your body and have that intuitive understanding of, this is what I need right now. I don't have to think about it, I just get to do. I get to step back and allow. And again, it's that fluidity when we just say, okay, I'm gonna surrender, I'm gonna let this happen. I don't care what anybody thinks about how I'm moving my body right now. If I'm crying, because I really need a deep cry, I've been holding cries in for years. But it's just stepping out of your own way, letting your body heal the way that it's supposed to, and finding that deeper connection and that piece of yourself. Psychedelics can also help us connect to this beautiful world that we live in. We are so lucky to live in such a beautiful space, to be able to commune with and be a part of nature, because we are part of nature. And I feel like it's so easy to forget that when we get swept up in the day-to-day. It's so difficult to remember that we need to go outside, put our feet on the earth, talk to a tree, be by the water. Psychedelics can help to bridge that connection again, help us reconnect to our primal instincts and knowing that we are part of the earth. And because we're part of the earth, we are part of everything around us. We are part of everyone around us. We are not separate. We are not actually meant to be as hyper individualized as we are. We are collective beings. And psychedelics can help us tap back into that collective. You may also encounter animal guides along your way. You might find a totem. It could be a plant, something of meaning that now becomes a signal to you, a remembrance point of your journey. Maybe you have a journey where you're laying in a fern and you have the most eye-opening, life-changing experience of your life, and then every time you see a fern when you're hiking, you remember that experience. Maybe you have a connection where your animal comes to you. I had a ketamine experience one time where my cat came to me, and he was just sitting with me, he was soothing me. He wasn't there, I was at my office like 30 minutes away, but he came with me, and I felt him sitting on my lap. And so we can connect with those beings that we are connected to, but again, we can't hear, or we don't let ourselves hear. Psychedelics can also cause us to start questioning our core values. A lot of people make big life changes after doing psychedelics. Again, they might have that face-to-face with their own mortality, where they're like, what am I doing with my life? I'm not spending time with the people that I want to be spending time with. I don't feel like what feels like me. Maybe I don't know what feels like me, but this is not it. Psychedelics can help you take a look at what is really important to you. What might you need to change in your life in order to start living in alignment with those values? Are there certain things that your body has said, like, hey, I need to be working out more. I need to take a look at what I'm eating, how much I'm eating, how often I'm eating. How much am I drinking water? Thinking about what are the things that are really important to you, and then making those changes in your life so that you can feel that internal alignment with those core values. And you might not know right now what your core values are, but deep inside you do. You do know what is important to you. You do know what matters to you. And again, it's just about allowing that to come up, not caring what someone else says is important, because what someone else says is important, that might not be important to you. and that's okay. But it's knowing, what do you value? What do you want to bring to this world? How do you want to move in this world? This can also show up as speaking up for others, feeling that connection with those around you, showing compassion to others, understanding that, oh, the thing that I don't like about you, it's actually something that I don't like about me. And because I don't like that thing about me, and I see it in you, I don't like that, I don't want to be around that. But in order to accept that other person, it's really, we have to go in and we have to accept that part of ourselves. And through accepting that part of ourselves, having compassion for those parts, we're able to feel compassion for those around us because we see the mirrors that other people are. And then lastly, spirit and the cosmos. I don't know about any of you. I was raised in the Catholic Church. It was an experience that definitely shaped me in many, many ways, definitely created a lot of my shadow. I remember as a little kid being in church and being like, I'm supposed to be feeling something. Everybody talks about like this thing that you're supposed to be feeling. I don't feel that. What am I doing wrong? So much indoctrination and shame from a very, very young age. This disconnect from your intuition, your body of, oh no, there's this higher power outside that knows better than I do for what is my life and how I'm supposed to live my life. For me personally, psychedelics are what helped unlock my spirituality. I am a deeply, deeply spiritual person now. I feel such a connection to Goddess and the universe, spirit, the earth, and that feeling that I was always looking for when I was a little kid. But it was only through psychedelics and going within and connecting with that feeling that lived inside of myself that I was able to feel that connection to that experience outside of myself. Working with the spirit and cosmos, we've come up across things like time isn't real. Like I said earlier, you can go back and you can visit your younger child. You can have an experience of speaking to your future self. And then years later, you meet that future self, and then you realize, oh, I'm now speaking to that younger version of me. And I was with me this whole time. You can connect to this feeling of universal love, that vibrational frequency that is really what we all run on. But our radio frequencies get so distorted by so many different things in our day-to-day society. Connecting with meaning, with faith, and whatever that means to you. I like to talk to my clients a lot about spirituality, especially in doing psychedelic work, because it is that thing that is bigger than you, that thing that we cannot describe. And again, that's where it can kind of get sticky sometimes with psychedelic journeys. You connect with the cosmos and you're like, well, now I've seen what's behind the curtain. What am I supposed to do with this? I can't talk to my friend who's never been through this experience because they look at me like I'm crazy. But I had this experience and this was real for me. This was my reality. So talking about what does this mean to you? What is the spirit and cosmos to you? Spirit could be the earth. It could be communing with the trees. It could be communing with the river spirits. It could be turning inward and connecting with that inner voice. It could be listening to that external, louder voice. Kind of wrapping all of this up, there's so many different ways that things can come up in our psychedelic journeys. And with integration, the important thing is there is no right or wrong way to integrate. It's all about what is the message that the journey gave me and how do I want to take this lesson and weave it into my daily life. So integration can look different for a lot of different people. Integration can be journaling, writing down your experience, putting it into existence, saying, hey, this happened. I did go through this. This is what I experienced. This is what I saw. This is what I learned. And sometimes we can't put things into words, so this is where art can be really helpful. There's a lot of ineffable things that come up in our journeys, things that we see, but there's no possible way to describe it. Art can be really helpful at giving expression to that experience because we don't have to cognitively try to put it into words. We simply get to express that energy. Movement is another great way of moving things through your body. Again, those sticky points, the things that we're holding on to. A lot of the times we literally just need to shake it off. We need to let it go. We need to get out of our way and let our bodies do their things. Spending time in nature, again, connecting to that larger energy that surrounds us. Listening to yourself and listening to the trees as you're processing and integrating your experience of, oh, this came up and this is what I know about myself now. This is what I want to do to move forward. Maybe it's just I want to spend more time in the trees. I need to go outside more. Dreams can be another way that we can continue processing our experience. Having dreams, a lot of the time the symbolism, it doesn't mean what we think it means, but even just having the dream itself is our unconscious showing us more information and showing that, hey, okay, now we've processed through it. A dream is really another journey where it has a beginning, middle, and end, where you're communing with your unconscious. So a lot of the time people might have more dreams after they do psychedelics. Things have been shaken up, things can come to the surface. The dreams might not always be good. Again, it's bad trip versus difficult experience, bad dream versus challenging dream. Meditation, keeping that inner connection with yourself, checking back in and saying, okay, I'm doing this, how are we feeling right now? Maybe that's doing a somatic check-in. What am I noticing in my body right now? What am I holding on to? Is there anything that's weighing on my heart? Is there anything that I need to say? Or do I just need to listen? Do I just need to simply hear? Tarot and oracle cards, they're another way that you can continue processing. I'm a big fan of using tarot and oracle cards with my clients. Again, connecting with the unconscious and not what is this card supposed to mean, but what does it mean to you? And how does that relate back to your intention? Did your intention come up on your journey? Was there a lesson that you got? Did your intention change? Maybe you were asking about, how do I love myself more? And then you come out of your journey with, well, I already do love myself. I don't need to love myself more. I just need to trust that I do love myself. The one thing that I really, really emphasize after psychedelics, part of integration can be making change. It can be changing behaviors. It can be changing lifestyle. It can be saying, I'm quitting this job. This relationship doesn't serve me anymore. I'm not supposed to be living here. I'm not supposed to be with these people. I really encourage you, sit with it before you make those big changes. The change is not necessarily bad. It may be exactly what you need to do, but let yourself sit with it before you actually take that action. If we make these impulsive life changes, it's a lot more difficult to really integrate because we might not know what is it going to look like if I make this change. I know that something needs to be different, but how is that going to create ripples in my life? And are these ripples pushing me where I want to be going? So give yourself time to sit with, process, integrate your experience so that you can really use psychedelics as a tool, that you can befriend yourself, you can befriend the universe, people around you, and get more out of your relationship with these medicines, because I believe that these medicines are so powerful. I think that they can definitely also not be used in the most helpful ways. And so I want to help people be able to use them in ways that help themselves and help the community at large. Because integration is also taking what you learn and sharing that with others. So I want to thank you all for being here today. And then I'm also open if anybody has any questions. And if you want to come and take a picture of this, feel free.
Thank you. I learned. Good job.
Thank you.
I learned, which is my favorite part.
Mm-hmm.